In America, there's an invisible line. On one side, you have cities like Austin or Miami, where buying a garage requires a kidney and a lien on your firstborn. On the other side, there are places where a house costs less than a brand new luxury SUV. We're not talking about fictional listings from the dark web. These are real zip codes. While the rest of the world is on TikTok crying about 7% interest rates, these 8 towns offer real estate prices that feel like a glitch in the matrix. But beware. In the housing market, there's no such thing as a free lunch. When a house is cheap, you usually pay the difference in quality of life, maintenance, or the sheer psychological toll of the local atmosphere. Today, we're analyzing 8 places where you can cheat the system, provided you have the nerves for it. We start in Centralia, Illinois. Not to be confused with the burning ghost town in Pennsylvania. Here, the median sales price currently sits at around $115,000. Centralia was once a massive railroad hub. Today, it's a place for men who appreciate the silence of a graveyard but need high-speed internet. The facts: the cost of living is nearly 22% below the national average. The town has a solid infrastructure, but the local economy is, well, resting. If you work remotely, Centralia is the ultimate hack. You get a Victorian house for the price of a parking spot in Chicago. But here's the reality check. Why is it so cheap? Because Centralia has a demographic problem. The youth are leaving, and manufacturing jobs are just memories. Question for you: would you trade your social life for a debt-free existence if your only neighbor's main hobby is asking if you've made it to church yet? Welcome to Aberdeen. No, not the one in Scotland, and not Kurt Cobain's hometown either. We're talking about South Dakota, median price $195,000. Sounds like a lot, not when you consider that the unemployment rate here is consistently below 3%. Aberdeen is the town that cheats the system by simply pretending recessions don't exist. The city is a hub for agriculture and education. It's safe, clean, and almost eerily stable. The catch: geography is your greatest enemy. In winter, Aberdeen feels like a research station in Antarctica, just with a Walmart. The wind cuts through your clothes like a Japanese chef's knife. Whoever buys here is betting on stability and, in exchange, accepts that in January, they might need a flamethrower to de-ice their car. Is security worth that kind of cold to you? We're heading to the deep south, Gadsden, Alabama. Median price, $148,000. Gadsden used to be the Pittsburgh of the South. Today, it's a city trying to reinvent itself while the old steel mills slowly turn to dust in the background. The economic hack here: property taxes in Alabama are among the lowest in the country. In Gadsden, you often pay less in annual taxes for a stately home than you do for a Netflix subscription. But here's the analytical truth: the humidity in the summer feels like breathing in warm soup, and the economic recovery is slow. It's a handyman's paradise. If you aren't afraid of asbestos and vintage wiring, you can build an empire here. But watch out, the next city on the list shows that water isn't always a luxury. Port Arthur, Texas. Median price, $130,000. If you love oil and water, this is your spot. Port Arthur is home to the largest refinery in North America. That means money, but it also means a skyline that looks like a planet from Blade Runner at night. Statistically, Port Arthur is a gold mine for investors, but a nightmare for asthmatics. The cost of living is absurdly low. But here is the real reason for the price: hurricanes. Port Arthur is in nature's crosshairs. You cheat the system by finding extremely cheap insurance and hoping the next storm gives your $130,000 house a wide berth. Would you take that risk to never pay rent again? Stay tuned, because next we leave the coast for a place where mining has left its scars. Forget the high society prices of Boise or Coeur d'Alene. We're going to Kellogg, Idaho. Median price, $190,000. Kellogg sits in the Silver Valley. More silver was mined here than anywhere else on Earth. Today, it's a mecca for outdoor enthusiasts who can't afford a house in Aspen. The facts: you live surrounded by world-class ski resorts and hiking trails. The catch: the town is a super fun site. Decades of mining left lead in the soil. Officials say it's safe as long as you don't dig in the garden and eat the dust. But that's exactly what keeps the prices down. You cheat the system by living in one of the most beautiful landscapes in the US, while the rest of the world is afraid of the ground beneath your feet. A deal with the devil or the ultimate lifestyle hack. Danville, Virginia. Median price, $155,000. Once the world capital of tobacco and textiles. Today, a giant museum of industrial architecture. Danville has the largest historic district of Victorian homes you've probably never seen. The Hack. The city is investing heavily in tech and a new casino to draw in tourists. Prices are already rising, but you still have the upper hand. Why is it still so cheap? Because for years, Danville was the poster child for decline. Crime was high, hope was low. Buying here means betting on a comeback. You're buying history for a fraction of its value. But are you ready to live in a town that is still trying to find its identity? If you liked Breaking Bad but hate Albuquerque prices, welcome to Clovis, New Mexico. Median price, $175,000. Clovis is home to Cannon Air Force Base. That means a constant rotation of tenants and a stable economy. The analysis: the town is flat, dry, and occasionally smells like cattle ranches. There is nothing here but trains, planes, and cows. But that exact isolation is your shield against the housing bubble. You get a modern house with a pool for the price of a one-bedroom apartment in Denver. The price you pay? Total cultural isolation. If your hobby isn't stargazing or cleaning firearms, Clovis will suck the soul out of you. But hey, your bank account has never been fuller. And finally, Bluefield, West Virginia. Median price, $95,000. Yes, you heard that right, under 6 figures. Bluefield calls itself the nature's air-conditioned city because it never really gets hot up here in the mountains. The facts are grim. The coal industry is gone. The city is shrinking. But for someone with a remote job, Bluefield is a cheat code for living like a lord. The houses are massive, often built of stone, and offer views you'd pay $1 million for in North Carolina. The catch? The opioid crisis hit this region harder than almost anywhere else in the US. Infrastructure is crumbling, and the healthcare system is an adventure in itself. Whoever buys here isn't an investor, they're a survivalist. You're buying into a community forgotten by the rest of the country. You won't have neighbors to annoy you because there are hardly any neighbors left. It's the ultimate end of the line, a place where the American dream either dies or is reborn in its purest, cheapest form. The moral of the story is dry and painful. A low price is always a symptom, never the cure. You pay either with your wallet or with your sense of security, your time, or your lungs. The system can't be cheated. It only offers you different ways to suffer. Which sacrifice are you willing to make? The cheapest houses in America are waiting for you, but don't forget, if you're the only one in the room who thinks they got a bargain, you're probably the bargain.